Yo, what's up guys? In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys the best visibility filters for Nvidia. These 3 different filters are going to make your game look crispy, as well as the best settings to boost your FPS and give you the best visibility possible. Make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video so I can show you how to install these filters on screen. So the most important setting that I think you should switch, and you don't need a Nvidia filter, so I'm going to turn off my filter. So you could do this on console or PC, and you're going to want to go to your shadows, and if you look down these steps, it's super dark right here, but if you put your shadows to high, the shadows impact lighting quality in this game. It does also stay the same with Epic. Medium, you don't get the lighting effect. For some reason they keep it on high. This setting also helps with dark areas where you can't see people, so usually you would extract here, but if you go to your settings, and as you guys can see, I have my filter off, and we go back to the same setting and we switch it to high, we add lighting for us. So if you have this on low, you might not be able to see some people, especially if you're on console, but if you have this on high, it adds a lighting quality for you so you can see better. I'm still getting 300 FPS down here with my shadows on high, which is really good. So the next competitive advantage setting is view distance. I see a lot of other guides say to put this on Epic. It only affects things that spawn in from a certain distance. Okay, I'm going to show you guys a really good example of this. So let's say you're playing a day raid in Dam and there's a lot of people hiding in these bushes. If you have your view distance on low, you would be able to see raiders standing here, but as soon as I go to Epic, the bushes cover up where somebody could be hiding, and the difference is not going to be that much. When we get closer, quality of the bushes get better as you get closer. My view distance is still on low, but it looks like I had it on Epic. But as I back up, if there was somebody behind these bushes, I would definitely be able to see them riding me, and some of the bushes even start to disappear completely. Alright, now I'm going to show you guys the best graphic settings to give you an FPS boost. So for display resolution, you're going to want to make sure this is on the resolution that you play. I'm currently playing stretch res 1720 by 1080. If you guys want a stretch res tutorial, I can make a whole separate video. Just let me know in the comments. You're going to want to disable this. You're going to want to have VSync disabled. For NVIDIA reflex low latency, the majority of you guys are going to want to keep this on. If you have a more CPU bound computer, you're going to want to keep this on plus boost. Frame rate limit, you're going to want to keep this on unlimited if you have a good PC. I say anything above like a 3080 and above. Upscaled resolution, make sure this is 100. For resolution scaling method, you want to keep this on the NVIDIA DLSS. DLSS quality, you want to keep it on quality unless you have like a 3080 or below. I would put it on maybe balance to give you a little bit of a FPS boost, but other than that, quality makes the game look really crispy. For DLSS model, this one's a little bit tricky. So transformer does look a little bit better, but it is gonna cost a little bit of FPS. So I have a 5080, so it's fine for me to keep it on. It gives me better quality in this game. It looks more crispy. But for anybody that I say has a 40 or below, a 40 series or below, CNN is definitely going to give you like a 15% FPS boost. For your field of view, I would keep this at 80. Global illumination, keep this on static. View distance, we talked about this earlier, you're going to want to keep this on low. Unless you are sniping, then I do suggest to put this on medium or high, just so you can see this stuff spawning in a little bit better and get better snipes in. Anti-aliasing, you don't want to keep on low. Shadows, I showed you guys, you want to keep that on high. For post-processing, you want to keep this on low. On textures, you're going to want to keep this on low. For effects, you're going to keep this on low. For reflections, you're going to keep this on low. For foliage, you want to keep this on low. And lastly, for global illumination resolution, you want to keep this on low. For audio, you are going to want to use night mode unless you are playing lightning. The reason for this is night mode gives you better highs and lows, so it's easier to hear footsteps when people are right next to you. The reason why you don't want to use it during the lightning storm is because the lightning will be way too loud. So unless you're playing lightning, I would keep this on. A lot of you guys have been wanting my crosshair, so next I'm going to show you guys. So for remove crosshair when line of fire is blocked, I like to keep this on. It just shows you when your bullets are not going to hit your target. Override crosshair shape, keep this on. Crosshair shape, you're going to want the T cross. You're going to want to turn on the weapon crosshair center dot. The crosshair center dot radius is 2, the center length is 1, the crosshair thickness is 1, the crosshair outline thickness is 1, and to get the yellow color all the way to 55 red, and you want to make green all the way to 255 and blue to 0. Now I'm going to show you guys a step-by-step process on how to add NVIDIA filters to your game. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you have the NVIDIA app. Alright, once you have the app open, you want to go to the drivers and make sure you install the latest driver. Next, you're going to want to go to your settings and make sure NVIDIA overlay is enabled and game filters and photo mode is enabled. So for the next step, we're going to add the filters now. So you're going to want to open your game and then hit Alt Z. It's going to bring you down to game filters. As you guys can see, I have 3 different filters here and they're all saved. I could swap in between them at any time. I'm going to show you guys how to do that in just a second. First, I'm going to show you guys my nighttime filter. So what you're going to do is add color, brightness, sharpen, and details. It's going to be on the plus sign down here. So first, find details, add it. You're going to want to add 35 to sharpen, clarity at 100, HDR toning at 100, and bloom at 0. Next, you're going to find sharpen, and you're going to leave sharpen to intensity 75 and ignore film grain to 75. Next, you're going to add brightness and contrast. You're going to put exposure on 4, contrast on 16, highlights on 100, shadows on -20. The last thing we're going to add is color. We're going to do tint color 0, tint intensity 0, temperature 0, and vibrance I'm going to turn it up to 100. Everybody has a different monitor, so if your game feels too colorful or too sharpened, those are the 2 things you can definitely turn down. Alright, so once you added your very first game filter, you're going to want to go to settings, go to shortcuts, and if you scroll down here, you'll find toggle profile 1, toggle profile 2, and toggle profile 3. I have it as 6, 7, and 8. Next, you're going to go back to game filters, and this should be your profile 1, the first one. So the second profile is going to be the one in the middle. You're going to want to click it. So for the second profile, this is going to be your daytime raid. This is for Stella daytime, any type of daytime map that you guys like to play. So first, you're going to want to come down here and add color, sharpen, brightness and contrast, and details. First, you're going to go over to brightness and contrast. You're going to put the exposure to 2, the contrast to 16, highlights 100, shadows -24, and gamma -4. Okay, next is going to be details. You're going to have sharpen to 0, clarity to 10, HDR toning to 100, and bloom to 0. Now we're going to do sharpen to 100 intensity, and ignore film grain to 75. In the last filter, color, we're going to do tint color 38, tint intensity 44, temperature 28, and vibrance 100. And for the last filter that we're going to add is the lightning storm. So this time we're only going to add 3 filters. We're just going to add color, details, and brightness and contrast. For brightness and contrast, you're going to have exposure to 42, contrast to -100, highlights to 74, shadows to -12, and gamma to -52. For details, you're going to have sharpen to 0, clarity to 10, HDR toning to 100, and bloom to 0. For color, you're going to want to have tint color to 0, tint intensity to 17, temperature to 24, and vibrance to 58. So now that you did all 3 filters, make sure you go to your settings, go to shortcuts, and make sure you toggle all 3 to keybinds. And now you guys can switch in between filters depending on the map. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see some more content from me, I stream almost every day on Twitch. I'll have my Twitch icon on screen right now, and I'll also have it in the description for you guys if you guys ever want to come watch me live. If you guys found this content useful, make sure you drop a like on this video. It does help me out a lot. I hope you guys all had a good Thanksgiving. Peace.